Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. This is going to be Wave 4 of McFarlane's Collector's Edition, and not only that, but this is the Platinum Chase variants. I won these guys in the EQL raffle for the McFarlane Toy Store, and since I bought the bundle from the McFarlane Toy Store, my chances were high, and I got them. Really happy to have these, as I'm fully caught up with my Platinums once again. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse, Starfire. But this is actually Blackfire. This is a completely different character. I think it's Starfire's sister. McFarlane Platinum Edition. McFarlane Collector's Edition. Here she is in the package. Looks like a couple of energy effects, collector's card, stand for collector's card, and a flight stand at the back. McFarlane Collector's Edition Starfire from DC Rebirth, figure number 11 in the Collector's Edition subline. Here she is in the back. And here's her barcode, but keep in mind it's going to be the same barcode as the non-platinum version. And then we have the Penguin. McFarlane DC Multiverse, the Penguin Platinum Edition. He's done in his more classic outfit, Superpowers design. Alternate hands, umbrella. Collector's Edition, the Penguin, figure number 12. Here's in the back, fighting Batman, old school style. And his barcode. Once again, remember, all the barcodes are the same as the regular versions. And then we have Captain Boomerang. What's interesting is, this is a White Lantern version of Captain Boomerang. He has 6 hands, 2 boomerangs. Platinum Edition. McFarlane Collector's Edition, Captain Boomerang from The Flash, figure 13. Here he is throwing the boomerang at you, and his barcode. So with no further ado, let's open them up. Alright, now that we got these figures out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. They each come with a display stand, a collector's card, and a stand for their collector's card. Penguin has 4 hands and an umbrella, Blackfire, 2 energy effects, and Captain Boomerang, 6 hands and 2 boomerangs. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures individually, we'll check out their accessories, height, and articulation, and we'll compare them with a bunch of other relevant action figures. So, let's go and start off with the one I was most excited for, the Superpowers redeco of the Penguin. Before we dig into the Penguin, let's check out the non-character specific accessories. Each of the figures comes with a display stand. Penguin and Boomerang have a regular stand, and then Blackfire has a flight stand, as she's the only one of the 3 that can fly. Each figure has a collector's card, and it's 100% identical, the Platinum Edition and the regular version's collector's cards. Here's the front of the collector's card, and then here's the back of those cards. Although I'm not sure if you'll be able to read them from this, the descriptions are really from the original figures. It's not Blackfire and White Lantern Boomerang's descriptions. And this doesn't do much for me, but if you want to display the collector's card next to your figure, you have a stand to do so. So here's the Penguin. This is the Superpowers repaint. This is one of Gotham's mobsters, one of the main ones. He's a short, fat, ugly guy with an attitude. So let's take a look. He's got the light blue outfit. It looks great. He's got the angry, ugly face. Very mean. The monocle. The pointed nose. Looks great. Let's go further down. Big old round belly. Yellow vest. White shirt. Gray bow tie. Light blue jacket. Got a little tail sticking out down there. It's textured quite a bit because they reused most of it from the Arkham City Penguin. Purple legs. Doesn't have the pinstripes, but the only thing missing on this guy. Looks like single jointed knees, double jointed elbows, pretty good looking figure. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. He's frowning, long nose, monocle, eyebrows up. Pretty good penguin face. And here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. And let's start off with the hands. He's a total of 4 of them. 2 right hands, and 2 left hands. Here's his first pair of hands. His right hand is a fist, and his left hand is an open hand. Could be a choking or grabbing hand. And here's his alternate pair of hands. They're a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers. Here's his umbrella. It's the same umbrella that came with the Arkham City Penguin, and it's been repainted in this red look. So it has a gold handle with a bird's head. He's going to hold it here, and then it has the actual red umbrella with a gold tip. Is it an umbrella? Is it a trick umbrella with a gun? one way to find out. Get on his bad side. Here's the Penguin, using the umbrella like a cane. And then here's the Penguin, holding the umbrella like a gun. Now I wanted to check out the differences in reuse between the Superpowers Platinum Penguin and the regular version. And besides the obvious paint differences, it's 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation. So let's take a look. Starting with their faces. This paint job just makes his Penguin look completely different, even though he's pretty much the same. He's got a blue hat versus a black hat. Got the purple stripe in both of them, but much lighter on him. Bow tie is gray and black. Shirt is white, a little off-white. Vest, yellow, orange. Jacket, blue, black. Pants are both purple. Neither one has the pinstripes. Dark, light purple, and the shoes are even different. And to check out the reuse with the Arkham City Penguin. So, I think the hat might be the same. It looks pretty similar. The faces are obviously different. The jacket is different. The arms are the same, but they added this sort of furry tip there. That's why they textured this guy's jacket to match the arms, so he wouldn't have to make new arms. And it's 100% the same from the waist down. Just like McFarlane, Mattel made a version of Penguin from the modern comics in a similar color scheme, and they also did their Superpowers repaint a couple years later. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his hat, standing at about 6.5 inches tall, which can translate to 16.5 centimeters. If the top of his hat is 6.5, probably the top of his head is about 6.2 inches tall. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down just the tiniest bit. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes up about 90 degrees, up, down, around. He does not have that usual butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest area because the jacket covers up that gap. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows. His wrist, it can rotate and it's going to be hinged. His torso is one solid piece and one big solid piece. Ball joint his waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Legs, they go out about this far. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotations minimal, if at all. They go forward about that far, back not much. Single jointed knee with rotation. And his ankle. Forward and back, barely. Rotate, also barely. Tilt rock, even less. And toe articulation. Here are all of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Penguin figures. We have the Batman movie Penguin, then the comic Penguin, and a couple different versions of the Arkham Penguin. Of course, I'm missing the Platinum Chase variant of this Penguin, as well as the other figures in this wave. And here he is, next to a couple of DST or Diamond Select Toys TV show Gotham Penguin figures. Then, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Penguin figures, I believe I'm only missing the Silver Age and Dark Victory versions, and I would love to track those down. And now, with all of my Mattel Penguin figures, I will say I think Mattel did a slightly better job on their comic Penguin. The orange on the vest, the color scheme's a little better. It's not sort of neon orange like a reflective vest. He's got the pinstripe on the pants, and they both have a sort of comic angry face. It's a nice combination of classic and modern. And both McFarlane and Mattel made the Superpowers variant, which is pretty cool. And let's not forget about McFarlane's 1966 Penguin figures. And here he is, next to an older Kenner Legend of the Dark Knight Penguin. Here are all the different Penguin figures that I have. I believe I have all of them in the 6 and 7 inch scale, except for a couple of DC Direct ones I mentioned earlier. Here's a look at all of my different Penguin henchmen. These are sort of Arkham City themed. They have that camo colored outfits. Some have jackets on. The only officially licensed one is right next to Penguin there. It's the DC Collectibles, Mr. Sickle. The rest of them are customs or figure substitutes. Here he is, next to a couple of Kabuki figures. I use these as the Kabuki twins, which are Penguin's henchmen in the cartoon, The Batman. Then, next to a bunch of actual penguins. These are sort of Penguin henchmen, Batman Returns style. Here's Penguin, walking down the streets of Gotham, using his umbrella as a cane. And then here's Penguin, using an umbrella as a gun, firing at all of his enemies. Now let's take a look at Blackfire. Blackfire is the older sister of Starfire, part of the royal family from their homeworld. She pretty much has the same powers. This figure comes with 2 energy effects, so let's take a look. So it's the same figure as Starfire, and it's a very clever way to do a Platinum Chase variant. She's in a black and silver outfit. Her eyes are red, sort of evil. The hair long and black instead of red. The outfit, black with silver trim. Based off a lot of the Nightfall Catwoman body. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. She can be kind of trying to stand with those heels, but if you get the feet in the right position, lean her against the back, high heel, it can be done. And a closer look at her face and head sculpt. It looks good. The orange skin tone, the red eyes, Blackfire indeed. Now let's check out her accessories. These are energy effects. They're cast in a semi-transparent purple tone material, and they kind of look like pom-poms. These have been released a few different times before, mainly with the Parallax figure. I've never been a fan, but it works a lot better for Starfire than Parallax. Her hand's going to go inside of there, and then it's just energy surrounding her fists. Here is Blackfire, utilizing those energy effects. Now to check out the similarities and differences between Blackfire and Starfire. And they're not twin sisters. Blackfire's the older sister, but the figures sure make them look like they'd be identical twins. And of course, besides the obvious paint differences, it's 100% the same figure, same sculpt, and same articulation. So let's take a look. So, their skin tone is pretty much the same as it should be for their race. She's got green eyes, she's got red eyes. Makes sense for the evil sister. The outfit, black with silver trim, and hers is purple with light purple. The medallion is green in her, it's black. The hair, red with orange at the bottom. Here, it's pretty much all black. And to check out the reuse between Blackfire, Starfire, and the Nightfall Catwoman. So obviously, the heads are totally different. I would say the top part of the torso looks to be different, although it has that sort of zipper line down the middle. Boobs seem a little smaller, and she has a medallion there. The stomach piece, I believe, is the same. The diaper piece is a little bit different. The arms look to be the same until... No, they're definitely the same all the way down. The same sort of glove cut here. And then the legs also appear to be the same. You can see the thigh-high sort of boot cut. Same heels, etc. But it came out completely differently. This is a kind of reuse that I think is clever and well done. Here are all the figures that utilize the Nightfall Catwoman body. Not all the pieces, obviously, but mostly the legs and the arms. Supergirl, Batwoman, Starfire, and Catwoman. Now for her height. From bottom to the top of her head, she's standing at about 7 inches tall, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And Starfire is typically a really tall woman, so I'd say the figure is a little bit underscaled, and that's all caused from utilizing the Nightfall Catwoman body pieces. And for articulation. Starting with her head, of course, you can rotate from side to side. You can even get the hair all the way over the shoulders and around. She can't really look up at all because the hair is going to obstruct that, but down quite a bit. Can tilt her head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out a little bit more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. She's got the butterfly ring between her shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering the gap that would be there. Bicep cut hidden very nicely with the glove. Double jointed elbows. Her wrists can rotate, and it's going to be hinged. In her torso, she has a ball joint, can rotate around, although it's very tight, forward and back. Another one in her waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion. Legs, complete as a splits. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is pretty much non-existent. They go forward nicely, back not much. Double jointed knees. And then her ankle, forward and back, rotate, tilt and rock, and of course, toe articulation. And even though she's technically not Starfire, but a different character altogether, Blackfire, let's check her out with some other Starfire figures. Here's the McFarlane Blackfire, next to the McFarlane Starfire. And here she is, next to the DC Direct version of Starfire. This is based off the New 52 look. Then, next to the Mattel DC Multiverse version, I believe this is based off the Rebirth look. And then here are all the different Starfire figures that I have. I hope McFarlane eventually makes a classic version. Here's Starfire, hovering above the city skies, energy ablazing, ready for action. Now let's look at Captain Boomerang, a member of the Flash Rogues Gallery, but this particular version is a White Lantern. I wasn't even aware that he was ever a White Lantern, but still a pretty cool idea for a variant. requires 0 new sculpting pieces, and it's the first White Lantern figure McFarlane has made, and it's addition to the many different lanterns they have already. So let's take a look. Starting with his face here, he's got these mutton chops that are orange, and I saw Ahsoka the Geek make a post saying that he looks like Brad the DC Universe Geek, and I thought that was hilarious because I can totally see it. He's got this beanie on with a little boomerang on there. He's got the light blue soft goods coat, which is removable, and a blue scarf. If you open that up, you can see the boomerangs on his chest, and behind that is a White Lantern logo. Very cool feature. He does reuse parts from Grifter from the torso down. Cloth soft goods coat. I thought it was just a repaint of Bane's, but it seems to be a little bit different. As a whole, I like him. I do prefer the regular version, but this is a pretty cool variant. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It's decent. Personally not a fan of those kind of mutton chops, but it definitely looks like Captain Boomerang, a little more modern version. And here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. And let's start off with his hands. He has a total of 6 hands, 3 right hands, and 3 left hands. Here's his first pair of hands. These are his fists. Here's his second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands for his boomerangs. And here's his last pair of hands. This is a pair of open hands. I imagine the gripping hand is to hold the boomerang, and the open hand is right after he threw it. Here are his boomerangs. He has 2 of them. They're silver, and they're pretty much just a basic boomerang. But I'm glad that we at least got 2 of them for him. Would have been nice to have 3 or 4. But now that I have both versions, I do have 4 of them for him. Here he is, holding one of those boomerangs. My only complaint is it's not really as tight in his hand as I'd like. Kind of loosey there. Now let's look at his coat and scarf. The scarf is light blue. Nothing really special going on here. But his coat is pretty cool. It's a really light blue, almost a White Lantern. The inside has almost like a goldish sort of look to it. Cloth soft goods, no wire anywhere. Here's the White Lantern Captain Boomerang's coat on the left, next to the regular version on the right. It's a much darker blue. And an interesting thing, his scarf matches that coat on the regular version a lot better than the White Lantern version scarf matches the coat. I might swap them. We'll see. Here's Captain Boomerang's coat, next to the Bane's coat. That was the first cloth soft goods coat they made. And I thought it was the same coat, but you can see Boomerang's is quite a bit longer. He's got the collar popped up. He doesn't, but you can easily push it up. And it's got all the furry stuff on the inside. The arms look very similar, but you can see the length of the coat is quite a bit different. So, not exactly the same. Here's Captain Boomerang without his coat. And here he is with the coat and scarf on. And here's Captain Boomerang, Platinum version with the coat on, next to Captain Boomerang, regular version, also with the coat on. Now I want to check out the differences and similarities between this White Lantern Captain Boomerang and the original version. And of course, it's 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation, different paint job. Start with their heads, same face, different color hat. Of course, the shirt is almost white, super light blue, and here it is also light blue, but a much darker light blue. You can see the White Lantern logo, but it's covered up with this sort of sash of boomerangs, and you can't move it around or anything. It's sculpted onto there. As we go further down, the pants, light blue, dark blue, the boots, gray, black. And a lot of the Captain Boomerang figure is reused from Grifter, so let's check that out. Start with the legs. Boots 100% the same. Legs 100% the same. Everything from the waist down is the same. The torso does seem to be different. And the arms are the same. Which is interesting because this guy has jacket arms, and so does he. A little bit inconsistent from the rest of the clothing, but it looks pretty good. And now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7 inches even, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course you're going to rotate side to side. You can look up, not much, down that much. Tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes up more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got the butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering up the gap that would be there. Bicep cut. double jointed elbows. His wrists can rotate, and it's going to be hinged. In his torso, he's got a ball joint. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion. Seem to get a little bit more of the torso than the waist on this guy. Legs complete as splits. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation. Minimum, but there. Legs go forward, not much at all. A little bit more to the side. Back not at all either. Double jointed knees. And then his ankle. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt, rock, and of course, toe articulation. Now let's check him out next to some other Captain Boomerang figures. Here's the McFarlane White Lantern Captain Boomerang next to the regular McFarlane Captain Boomerang. And here he is next to the DC Direct Captain Boomerang that I have. Then, next to all my Mattel Captain Boomerang figures. Here are all the different Captain Boomerang figures that I have. Mattel, McFarlane, and DC Direct. Here's a look at Captain Boomerang in the city streets. Getting ready to fight. Throwing his boomerangs. Here's a look at all three of these figures. Ready for war. Captain Boomerang has boomerangs out. Starfire energy effects. And Penguin his umbrella. Now let's check them out next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Starting off with some other Collector's Edition figures. Here are the Platinum Chase figures from the fourth wave of the McFarlane Collector's Edition. Penguin, Blackfire, and the White Lantern Captain Boomerang. Here's the first wave of the McFarlane Collector's Edition subline. In the Collector's Edition line, every single figure has a Platinum Chase variant. The first wave consisted of the first appearance Superman, Abyss, and Alan Scott Green Lantern. And here's the second wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures. This wave consisted of Firestorm, Hawkman, and Sinestro. Here's the third wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures. This wave consisted of Death and Return of Superman, Captain Carrot, and then Batman as Green Lantern. Here's the Collector's Edition Wonder Woman figure. Not part of a traditional wave, just a one-off. And here's the fourth wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures. We have Penguin, Starfire, and Captain Boomerang, both regular and Platinum Chase variants. Now, the next wave drops a pre-order this Friday, and that is Sergeant Rock, Connor Kent Superboy, and Manga Batman. Rumor is the next wave after that is going to be Clock King, Ragman, some Agent Liberty or something, not familiar with that character, and then Joker's Red Hood. And the wave after that is going to be Huntress, Dark Knight Returns Batman, and I can't remember the other one that wave. So they're going to be making these for quite a while, and better believe they're all going to get Platinum Chase variants. Here are all the earlier Platinum Chase variants by McFarlane. Some of the earlier figures, then all the unpainted ones, and then some of the newer, different paint schemes. And here are the most recent Platinum Chase variants. They're making some really cool ones nowadays. Few duds, but mostly they're sort of sought-after versions, and that is a very frustrating concept. Adding in these new 3 Platinum Chase variants, I'm fully caught up once again. So overall, I'm pretty fond of the fourth wave of Collector's Edition figures. I think Penguin's a solid release, Starfire's a solid release, and so is Captain Boomerang. My main issue is the price tag. $30 for these figures is ridiculous. The Penguin is a lot of reuse. Starfire and Captain Boomerang also have a lot of reuse. There's really no reason these figures shouldn't be $22.99 like a regular release. They don't really have more accessories. They have the stupid stand for the collector's card that nobody wants. Captain Boomerang is the only one here that has a bunch of extra stuff. The coat, the scarf, 2 boomerangs, 6 hands, 2 stands, and a card. But truth be told, they could all be released at the $22.99 price point. Now, they are fantastic releases. I think Penguin looks great. Same with Starfire and Captain Boomerang. I just don't think they should cost as much as they do. It's sort of a cash grab by McFarlane, and I get it. They're a company. They exist to make money. But that's exactly what he stood for not doing in year 1 and 2 of the line, and he's kind of gone a different direction in the past couple of years. Still, like I said, very solid releases, and the Platinum Chases are really cool. The Superpowers Penguin, I love it. Blackfire makes perfect sense. White Lantern Boomerang, kind of an odd choice. But I don't have any other good suggestions for a Platinum Captain Boomerang. I'd say I like Penguin the best, then Starfire, then Captain Boomerang. And that's not saying Boomerang's a bad figure. He's a great figure. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.